The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the lovely lady Courtney, and she has she's a graphic designer, but she also has a love for all things art and graffiti, which her history goes back to. So we're just going to delve into her backstory of who she is, where the love for the arts and everything comes from. So nice to have you here today, Courtney.
Thank you for having me here.
That's great, that's great. So tell us about what kind of child were you when you were growing up?
I was always really into art and drawing, and I really liked science as well. I like sort of diagrams and stuff.
Okay. Were any of your parents creative?
Yeah, both my parents are really creative. They always were like making things, and they still do make lots of things, like making little sculptures and stuff.
So when it comes to graffiti, when did you start to do graffiti? Graffiti always looks quite hard to me. It's creative. I actually like it in certain places, but it looks quite technical.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I mean, I've never actually done graffiti in the street, but I was always really obsessed with it, and I think it's really beautiful. Especially in different countries as well. When you start traveling, like in Portugal they have some really amazing graffiti, in Brazil they have really amazing graffiti. A lot more like delicate and like typographic and just really cool.
What do you think of the man Banksy's graffiti?
I like Banksy. I think everyone loves to hate Banksy, but
his stuff is more art. Would you say, I know graffiti is probably classified as art, but it looks more, I saw a bit down the Barbican where it's like this zombie kind of alien is being arrested by police.
Was it Banksy?
Yeah, because they put a piece of glass over it, or perspex over it to protect it and stuff like that. I just thought, well, that's not like a tag. What's the difference between tagging and graffiti, just normal graffiti? Are they the same bracket?
Yeah, I think that I guess the lines are quite blurred, and I'm definitely not an expert on it, so I'm not sure, but I know that with tagging there's like a long history of it, and it's a lot to do with territory, and there's a lot of like politics that goes on between different artists that tag, and people tag over each other, and obviously think back to New York, and you know, you've got like Basquiat, you know, who was an amazing painter, but he started off tagging, you know, so it's interesting. There's a rich history there.
I noticed you mentioned about the Brazilians and graffiti. Did you hear about the young street favela kids who were brought in to do graffiti on side of buildings and artwork, and the art world was selling it for loads of money and not giving them any money?
Well, that sounds like human nature, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you're a graphic designer?
Yeah.
You've done, did you do a degree in graphic design?
Yep.
So what motivated you to do that, and what's the hardest thing about the course?
I think I always had a fascination with like different letters and different letter forms, and graphic design, a lot of it's to do with typography, so that was always really exciting, and I still love that. I still really nerd out about that.
And just for the audience, typography is where you just do different letters?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and thinking about the spacing between letters and the different characteristics that they have, and whether, you know, the different shapes that they have make them more legible in a book form, for example, or whether they work better as read from far distance. Maybe for traffic signage, for example, the letters will have different characteristics to those that you might read in a book, with where the words are all
they must be
together.
Easy to read.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm thinking, doing this stuff with letters, you must have a real love for that, but not just that. Surely you must hit a wall at times, because you must be like, oh, well, I've done that style last time. I've done this. How do you overcome that?
That's a tricky one. I mean, I think when you start to notice it, you realise there's like words everywhere. There's like signs everywhere, even on the floor.
Yep.
Like, you know, when you're driving.
Yeah, your phone in the car.
Your phone, even the way the letters are on your phone are different because pixels you know, you have to consider the pixels and how that changes the letter forms, and there's so much in it. So it feels kind of never ending. But do you like graffiti? Are you into it?
No, I can't say. Well, I don't mind the Banksy, so I see it more of art.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on what I'm looking at, and when does graffiti become graffiti, and when does it become art? Is the question I would probably need to know first. But yeah, I can't say. Like, there's places down Stratford. And there's this big area. It's an old industrial warehouse, but it's like gentrified, trendy. You've got a lot of people living in these warehouses who usually come from very wealthy backgrounds, and graffiti's everywhere, really everywhere. And they're slowly knocking down these warehouses and building these luxury apartments. So soon the graffiti will be gone and all the old buildings. But it kind of brings back the 80s feel for me, if you see what I mean. So I'm not sure if that's always a good thing.
You don't you're not feeling the 80s?
No, well, I'm a 70s child, but I don't know, it's just like, But I will ask you this: what have you learned from your career in this graphic design that you wish you knew when you had started?
I think something along the lines of just relax. Because there's lots of rules that you learn and lots of things you learn about Swiss typography, and you know, like there's so much, like there's a lot of sort of theory and stuff at the beginning, but it's actually really fun and really silly. And yeah, just that you don't have to stick to those guidelines that you learn, because they teach you lots of grids and systems and stuff, and I think when you're trying to be creative, it's not actually helpful.
Yeah, so they're teaching you like in a traditional format, and you just want to be free.
Something like that.
How long have you been in the graphic design industry?
About 7 years.
Did you find the degree you did was relevant to what you're doing now in your career?
Yeah, I think so.
So you would encourage somebody to do a degree in graphic design before applying for a job, not working their way up?
I mean, it's really, really hard to say. It's just it's an extortionate amount of money.
Yeah, 27 grand.
Yeah.
So that's the big question that I ask everybody.
Oh, interesting.
Is there people in your industry that you work alongside who are settled but never had a degree?
Yeah.
Is there lots? Is there a good number?
I wouldn't say lots, but there are. Yeah, I wouldn't say there are lots, but there are. And I think it's changing. I think that less and less people are going, because you can learn a lot of stuff online as well, on YouTube. It's free.
Self-taught.
Yeah, you can
learn a lot of stuff. And then you've got all the freedom to be totally creative.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the company will either like you or not like you, you'll fit or you won't.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for you?
Hopefully I can just keep making cool letters. No, I wanted to travel. I wanted to do a bit of travelling.
Well, you spoke about Brazil and Portugal.
Yeah.
There's a love for Portuguese, all things Portuguese there.
Love Portuguese language. I think such a beautiful language.
I never thought of that, because if you're into letters, you probably languages go alongside that, because languages are defined by letters.
Yeah, it's true. It'd be cool to learn a different script, like Arabic or something like that. But I don't know if I'll ever get there, but that would be awesome. I have so much respect for people that can switch it up like that. It's so cool.
Okay. So you never thought about starting your own business, going ahead like that?
I kind of have done my own thing here and there. It's just a massive hustle, isn't it? I think you've got to fully embrace the hustle. You can't be half-assed.
Social media wise, where can people find you if they want to see your work?
I'm actually I get anxious posting on social media, so I do use social media, but I didn't post for like 4 years.
Okay.
Because I get stressed.
Really?
Yeah, it stresses me out about what should I say, how do I come across, so I just leave it.
You know what you can do? Just post snippets of your work. You don't even have to say anything.
Yeah, it's
and then
true.
You build up a big portfolio, and then people want to find you or see things. They just say, hey, especially LinkedIn. If you linked your things to just to work, there's nothing said.
Yeah.
And people just go, I like this girl's style. We'll pay you more. Come over to us.
It's true. It's good to connect. It's cool. I saw in your QR code that you have social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So you spoke about travelling. What countries have you been to? And I could ask you what's the most favourite country, but has there been any country you've been to that you just thought, I can't go back to here?
What? In terms of like, I didn't like it?
Yeah.
I did or I didn't like it?
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I went to Vienna and I didn't like it.
What was the issue?
I don't know, just bad vibes.
Really?
Everyone just seemed a little bit depressed. And there was so much opulence, like if you went to the cake shop, the cake just had so much like sugar and swirls on it, and then like even the door frames would have so much like sort of gold and embellishments. And
Isn't that their culture though?
yeah, I mean, no disrespect, but I found it quite like
Overwhelming?
sensory overload. And also I think that their culture there, they seem to be playing it.
Say it as it is, sis.
No, it was just quite blunt.
Yeah. So
But then also
Are they
blunt,
blunt
but
like
living in a fairy world. Kind of weird.
Are they like the French, blunt, rude?
Yeah, but a bit less, yeah, but I feel like for some reason I think the French kind of get away with it. I don't know why.
Well, they get away with it until you pull them up.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
true.
then they're suddenly they're the victim.
Yeah, they are quite blunt, aren't they?
Yeah.
I remember once going to Switzerland and someone walked past me and said something to me in French, but it was really nice, like hello or something. And I was really taken aback because they just said something really nice to me in French, and I was a stranger. Like I think I was having a beer by the river or something, and they were like, "Oh, bonjour," whatever.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Yeah, and they were so nice, and they just kept walking with their dog, and I was like, "That's the first time someone's ever spoken to me in a nice way in French when I've been on holiday." And then I remembered I was in Switzerland.
Okay.
It's funny.
So you're a lady who travels.
Tried to.
Okay. What's your dream country you'd go to work as a graphic designer?
I'd love to live in Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Where Rio, not Sao Paulo, São Paulo.
Sao Paulo would be cool, but I've never been there. But Rio would be cool as well.
You've been to Rio though?
I've been once, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Rio once.
Really? Did you enjoy it? How was your time?
I loved it.
Did you love it? What did you get up to?
Ooh,
that was a funny cackle. You got up to.
I was on the beach.
You're on the beach, okay.
I enjoying myself.
Just looking at beautiful women.
And I was trying to. It's a country that you forget you're married. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
it's one of those kind of countries.
Country you forget you're married. Okay.
That you forget you're married. But I've never been married, so I just give that's an
so
example.
it's fine for you.
It's an example of I can see.
What was your favourite thing about Rio?
I love the landscape. I love the favelas.
Yeah.
The culture of the people was okay, barring you got the white Brazilians were quite. There's a lot of you can see there's a real racist undertone.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was like, and I was staying in this apartment of one row from the beach, and it was all white. And I remember this man looking at me, he had long hair, quite fattish, and he's eating crab sticks, and he offered me one. I said no, thank you. He said, "You American?" I said no. He said, "British?" I went, "Yes." He went, "Okay." So if I said I was Brazilian, he would have been probably very upset that I'm assuming here that I was staying in his building or in his building. Do you see what I mean? Like, how can you afford this? That kind of thing. Well, we've come to the end of the ride.
We've come home.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you.
It's been great chatting to you.
My last question to you is, at Taxi Chronicles, we believe in sharing our gift. You've done that today. We appreciate that. But my question is to you is, if the world was standing in front of you and they wanted one word of advice based on your experience, what would that be?
Optimism. It's important to stay optimistic.
Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thanks so much. This is the best cab journey I ever had.
Okay. We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.